Right, pretty much ready to go now. Just waiting for the medics and the top end crew to get into position. But you'll probably hear a few engines fire up now as the cars in the pairing lanes move forward from the crossroads to the head of the pairing lanes. Everybody gets themselves into position, and we are pretty much there. So fingers crossed we can run for the rest of the afternoon. And no more rude interruptions from above, but the sky's looking a damn sight better than they were earlier on. And actually, just looking around the back, looks like it's going to be an engine firing up, and it has indeed. It's a slingshot of Rob and Pete Brown, and it's Rob Brown who's taking the wheel this weekend, and he is licensing in the Rebel. Front engine slingshot dragster. We've got racing with the Wild Bunch this weekend. So we're back, ladies and gentlemen, at last here at the Nostalgia Nationals. Massive thanks to the track crew for getting everything dried out, especially at the top end. That was a day. Although that rain didn't last very long, what it lacked in duration, it certainly made up for in the sheer amount of water that came down. Not a good one at all. But there we go. That's what we have to contend with here sometimes. Fingers crossed that's the last of it. If you just look upwards, although the flags are starting to flutter a bit, what's coming this way is like blue sky. Fingers crossed for the rest of the afternoon. Well, the dragster formerly driven by the boys was called the Wrathchild. This is the Rebel. Has been as low as 8.3. But no restrictions on the car this weekend. But due to have some extra tubes fitted to the car before the Summer Nationals. So Pete and Haley look on. Rob behind the wheel this weekend. Whoops, just bumped through. Give him another go at that. Right, so basically on licensing process, burnout and launch, which is basically what Rob's done there. The next run will be a half pass, so I expect to see a bit more from the car as the weekend progresses, and then you'll go into competition tomorrow. So here we go then, back to Run What You've Brung. Now then, I did manage to pull out the sheet on this one. This is Adrian with this fantastic Vauxhall Victor FD Estate. Got a 383 cubic inch small block Chevy injected engine in there, coupled to a TH400 transmission, and I believe a Ford 9-inch rear end. So a bit of a mix of parts in that car, but getting a little bit loose, but getting the hammer down and getting the job done. .1202 and a 1312. Ah, nice to see Ranchero pick up. Well done, guys, to the Rebel team going to pick up. I think that's first stage of 3 on the old licensing ticked off there. So burnout and launch, well done. One of our tri-Chevys here for this weekend. Going to be on a solo, actually. I thought it was a Ranchero, not going to be making this particular pass. Blazes the tyres off the line. That's got some oomph in it. got a whole host of cars that are going to be putting some runs in today. Some I've seen before, some I haven't, obviously. Quite a few of the Tri-Chevys booked into run today, which is good to see. And certainly the 100Es are to the fore as well. Plenty of Ford Coupes. Good to see. Talking of Fords, is the Prefect. That's got a few runs in today already. 12:59, the best from earlier on. Oh, much better launch this time round. Still sounds like it might be missing the odd gear in there when it goes for the shift. $14.92 at just 73 miles an hour. Ah, the noisy bugger. Yes, of course, the VW Beetle. That's cool. So, first run of the weekend for the Beetle. Well, heading towards the 11s perhaps. Oh, into the 10s, 1061, 129. Ah, Mr. Savage, great to see him with the 32. Talk about consistent 10-second runner. Brian Savage been running this car for quite a while. Look at the way he looks out the window to see where his front wheel is. But this really does move on. Very, very good car indeed. Foot welded to the firewall. And there we go, 10.6, 125. Nice arrow straight run for Brian there. We like that a lot. All right, a couple more of the Tri-Chevys. '55, 56 and 57, three great years, especially if you're a Tri-Chevy fan. Car production, cars just looked absolutely superb back in the day. I know muscle cars took over in the 60s, but whoa, lots of tyre slippage there in the energy check lane, so excess power for the tyres are on the car. Managed to gather them up though. There's 14.25 at 98 mile an hour. All right, Dean Hemblade, he's in the Auto Grim Lade. The 57. And a similar 57. And that is Terry Smith. Oh, now Terry's PB 15.2. Unfortunately, I don't know what Dean's is at the moment. But two more for the Tri-Chevy shootout. $15.92, $16.40. Right, James Ald with the little Faust dragster. James's first outing on track this year, running with the Wild Bunch. I remember when James first got behind the wheel of this, bearing in mind that James has driven everything from ASCAR to circuit racing to karts. So really is an experienced motor racing driver, pretty much driven everything, but this gives him a sense of pride and satisfaction driving this car, really does. Has dipped into the 12s with this, and well into the 12s again. 12.75, that'll do for an opener. $13.75 for the Ford going through there. Right, the Falcons made it back. And with lots of wheel spin as it leaves the line. Well, absolutely beautiful looking Ford Escort down there. That car's entered door slammers actually. That's going to be here next weekend. Really do look forward to seeing what this one does. It's a new one to me. Haven't seen this car before. But I'll tell you what, really glad that it's here this weekend though. Goes through in 11.30. Very impressive run indeed. That's Rossello Cesar, all the way from Malta with that Escort. 2.1 litre engine in there, with obviously lots of goodies to make it go quick. That car running in the big bracket next weekend, so we look forward to seeing more of that one, and of course Rossello and his team from Malta. Right, Clive Dandridge with the Mustang. Running in Nostalgia Superstock this weekend. Running consistent 13.4s today. Has run 13.2. Let's see where this one is. Probably in the middle of them, about 13.3. 13.5, just a little bit out. Ronnie Mercer, good to see Annie, his Ford Pop, back with us. Should, once everything's sorted out, the car run 9s, but I know he's not pushing the car too hard at the moment, so around about mid to high 10s perhaps the order of the day here. And another one of the Tri-Chevys. Really good looking Nomad there. That's Steve Murphy, has been as quick as 11.2. That's 502 cubic inch supercharged lump in there. Ronnie 1078, 1158 for Steve. Good benchmark for Steve actually. First outing this year, goes 1158, 120 miles an hour. Now he can start stepping on it. Loving the new crew shirts for Ronnie Mercer. Outlaw Anglia, a huge class this weekend, and a few of them getting some runs in now. And of course the sun's come out as well, putting a little bit of heat into the proceedings today. Actually looking forward to seeing what the team from up north have got for us this weekend. Scotty Crookston down there, Colin Miller, and of course we got a third car. We've had the Flying Fife of the Flying Scotsman, and we've now got a Flying Saltaire to deal with. Look forward to seeing the other Crookston gets on this weekend. .35, 119 miles an hour from the Outlaw Anglia. Right, Dan Williams, first outing with the new 62, well, new to them anyway, 62 Impala, 327 cubic inch small block. Let's see how this one goes. Needs to break into the 14s. Will he do it first time out? The whole team on the line, wheeling the car on. So something tells me this will be in the 15s for the first run. If he goes to 14, then watch for the celebration. 16.23 at 88 mile an hour. Needs to get a bit more. Yeah, get the whip out, get it to go faster. 16.23 at 88 mile an hour. Good first run there for Dan Williams. 16.07 in the energy check lane. So Dan will be changing the carb over and everything. Needs to run 14.99 or quicker to get the car to be eligible to play in Nostalgia Superstock. Oh, the Willis getting very close to the centre line, but nicely guided away. Goes 13.27, 11.63. Well, how about this for a matchup? I think is the best way to describe this. Mick Taylor with the Banshee. And of course you've got from the supercharged the supercharged Outlaws, you've got the Acute Angle. Mr. Dale, let's see what he's got for us today. Mick Taylor, Paul Dale, here we go. Well, to be fair, both of them are just settling back into their cars after a long break, but a 10.42, 137. Mick Taylor and the 12.46, 115. All Dale. Right, this is Mike Carter with the Pop Coupe, 302 cubic inch small block in there. He's in the auto glim lane. And that is, let's have a look here, Chevy C10 pickup. And that's Adam Prasinski, I think. Sorry if I pronounced that one wrong. No 14.0 Fords, plays a 15.78. Well, these two lined up side by side earlier, and believe it or not, they're back to do it again. This is Jack Bishop with the Nostalgia Superstock 67 Barracuda. Went 9.84. Andy Park on his first run back 10.06, so they should be in the nines this time round. '33 Ford Model Y taking on 67 Plymouth Barracuda. Fairly evenly matched. I mean, yeah, okay, Jack's car fractionally quicker, but good lineup, these two. Well, that had red light written all over it the way Jack was creeping forward there. It's only 005 red, but still get a time. Goes 9.90. Oh, 10.01 for Andy Park. Ridiculously close to a 9-second pass. That'll be on the next one. Another one of the Nostalgia Superstockers. Do like the look of that. .08, 131 mile an hour, 13.92 and 106. Pete Wiseman with the beautiful Nostalgia Superstocker there. And Katie Booth with the Mighty Mouse. .1954 Ford Pop, going very nicely indeed to a 10.21, and Pete goes 11.09. So looking at this, they seem to be alternating their driving, so Ted will be back behind the wheel for the next run, as if we expect the form to follow the way it has been. Right, looks like they've got a fluid leak at the front of that slingshot. That is absolutely drop dead gorgeous though. Very nice looking dragster. Looks like it's straight out of the 1960s as well. Very similar to the Allard dragster, the way that is set up. Unfortunately, not going to be making this run. So you've got the Ford Mustang going through. Let's have a look, see. Oh no, that's going to be its first full-time run actually. It did appear earlier on, but didn't get a score on the board. Certainly hooked up and got well this time. Good hard charging straight run. Goes 10.54, 130 miles an hour, with more to come. Actually just gone into the number 8 spot of our quickest cars of the day so far. So that's the interest-free slingshot that's just been pushed back. There's a new car to the Wild Bunch this weekend, and a pesky little leak has prevented that run from going any further than the burnout, but expect to see them back a little bit later on. All right, a couple of old school Fords here. All right, that's Paul Lawn with a 100E. As we mentioned earlier on, the first time out after 18 years in the build. Going alongside Lawson Eager. Best of a 16.1 so far in the Auto Glim Lane. Paul Lawn basically to set a PB today, so let's see how he gets on. So it's been 18 years in the build, this one. Obviously life getting in the way. 16.34 and a 17.35. So a hot lap and get back into the pairing lanes, I'd imagine. Well, such a shame we had that rain delay today. Absolutely looking glorious out there now. The flags are hardly moving at all, so hopefully that means the clouds above are not moving at all, which means that the sun will stay out and put some heat into the track as well, put some heat into everybody. Bit of a damp morning, but turning into a quite pleasant afternoon here. Well, Paul Lawn painted this car in the energy check lane. Really does look super, super nice out there. That, of course, is Lisanne Doyle. And apologies, haven't got the details on the car in the other lane, but lovely flat launch though. That is really moving on. Well, it went 10.27 earlier on, but that's on the verge of going in the 9s. And he does it 9.96, 128 miles an hour. Super looking run. No improvement there, 14.57 at 93 miles an hour there for Lisanne. Well, things are starting to get a bit louder and a bit noisier and a bit crazier. That must mean that Twister is in the house. This is Andy Hadfield from the Supercharged Outlaws. His first run this year, I believe. Actually, I haven't seen him run this year as yet. He's certainly been up to the track, actually. Daughter Purdy taking part in Junior Dragster in a couple of weeks' time at the main event, and she had her first outing in a car at Easter. But this is Dad's turn. Andy Hadfield with Twister. Car has been in the mid-7s. One of the quickest passenger rides you'll ever likely to get in a street legal car. And not only that, Andy is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Car really shouldn't be as quick as it is, but thank goodness it is. Entertainment with a capital E. Oh, a bit of bounce going on there for Andy. He'll get that sorted out. Just floors it to get it up to the top end. Even just with that little bit of pedal, he goes 99 mile an hour at the strike. It just goes to show the potency of the car. 1476. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right, left-hand lane. This is Sean Doyle with 100E. 350 cubic inch Chevy in there, 9-inch rear end, just with strange internals. Nicely done, 1313. Couldn't get to the second details, unfortunately, on that one. A little bit quick. Right, one Anglia, one Nostalgia Superstocker. Right, Jim Chandler with the Dodge Coronet 1965 vintage. What's interesting is the dial-in is a 10 flat on a Sportsman tree, please, he says. Well, that's what he'll be racing on, so wants to get the best out of the runway to run as well. Cheeky little wheelie off the line, nicely controlled. .10.16 and 11.45. Good run there for Jim. Oh, this is the one that been eagerly awaiting to see. This is Barry Crookston with the Flying Solitaire. First run, I believe, for the car. So just getting used to where everything is. So it's a young Scott out front. Let's see how Barry gets on. Don't forget 3-car T now for the flying squad. .99 at 80 mile an hour, and the Flying Solitaire 17:58.44. I think that's first stage of a licensing pass, actually. Has to do his burnout launch, which done admirably. For Taz Racing, this wonderful little Fiat is the Rat. Going alongside Dave Mahoney with the Camaro. Both of these will be racing at Door Slammers next weekend, actually. Dave Mahoney, he is in, just see, double check what class he's running in, actually. He's running in True Street. And I believe the Rat is in 4-cylinder class. It is indeed, yeah, Adam Skinner. Running in 4-cylinder class. The wheelie bars aren't for show on the back of the Rat, actually. Really does make good use of them, but unfortunately being pushed back. Oh, what a shame for Adam. I know he's been working flat out for quite a while to get this car ready. We'll see him back out a little bit later on, though. So Dave Mahoney with the Camaro. I'll tell you what, that is a stunningly quick car. Already the quickest car on the premises this weekend so far. It's gone 9:42. I think the aim is to go just that little bit quicker. Anything 9.29 want to be good, and then work its way into the 8s. That would be really good. Just having a personally prepared launch pad, is Dave. There we go. Excellent stuff. So the big Camaro then comes up to the line. Let's see what Dave's got for us. So quickest car on the premises so far this weekend, 9:42. Little wheels up launch there. Got the power in all the way through the run. Oh, almost matched his previous run. Actually went 9:42 earlier, 9:43 on this one. Well, I've said it before, I've said it again. Don't forget, folks, today is the closing day for entries for Door Slammers next weekend. I know we're going to get a few late entries coming in today. We keep checking out the website to see any updated entries, but don't forget we're at 49 for front wheel drive, 42 for the OCS group, big bracket. The 4-cylinder class looking good for Webster Race Engineering, but the IBAC front wheel drive class, 49, staggering numbers. Right, the Ford Falcon, the flag jumper. Another one of the nostalgia stockers. Around about 16.4. Expect to see this car to run. Well, that's blown that away, 12.2. Wow. 12.78. In the autoclim lane. I think the dial-in numbers on the back window were totally false. Ain't no saint. One of the Gasser Circus entries, the Volvo. Actually not listed on their entry for this weekend, so I must have missed something there. But good to see that car back out once again. Trying to stage with the rear wheels, actually needs to stage with the front ones. $11.94 and a $10.97 there. The Volvo going very well indeed, goes into number 13 spot of our Run What You Brung Us today here at the Nostalgia Nationals. And if you want to check out the latest NSRA stand, it's just next to the pairing lanes by the Crossroads. Got the latest event merchandise there, hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, posters, all sorts of things over there. If you want to check in with them, they are next to the Crossroads, just by the pairing lanes. Another one of the Outlaw Anglers putting its first run in of the weekend against this fantastic Vauxhall Victor estate. Really do like that. .383 in there. Cool as you like. Small block Chevy injected, turbo 400 trans, 9-inch rear. And it's a Super Duty Vauxhall Victor FD estate. I like it. Don't know much about the Outlaw Anglia at the moment though. In actual fact, is that Ruby? Yes, it is. That's Ruby. Yes, I do know that car very well indeed. Just didn't recognise it instantly. Kim Harrison. Loving life behind the wheel of this car. I tell you what, the Harrison family loving life with this car as well. A lot less pressure than running a top methanol dragster, that's for sure. 1162, 124. And 1298 and 110 for the Vauxhall. Right, Matthew Hollins finally got the name at last for the Auto Glim car, the Sleep at Violet Springs Grey Primer Willis, PB of 13.2 at 103, going alongside John Dalrymple with the Willis pickup. Remember last year he wanted to play in the Willis Wars, now he's got his chance. And go to 11.95 against Lose at 12.42. Wow, 12.42 at 107. Well, that beats the PB of 13.2 at 103 at the last year's Hot Rod Drags. So well on there to Matt Hollins. He'll be taking that timing slip and go, what? Fantastic run. Well done, Matt. Right, Brian Savage. This 32 Roadster, love it. And I tell you, one of the quickest, straightest, neatest looking cars I think you'll ever see. Don't forget, Brian used to crew for Dave Wilson in top methanol dragster back in the day. Has this as his weekend toy. And, well, if my toy box had that in it, it would be open every day. Ford Mustang, I've seen that car a few years around. Does things including the Silverstone Classic, has a little sprint there occasionally. I'll try and find all the details about that Mustang eventually, but a little bit quicker this time for Brian. 10.55, went 10.60 earlier. But pretty much every single run the car makes is in the 10s these days. Well, how about a pair of 32s with wheelie bars sticking out? Well, one's a 33 to be fair, but even so, you gotta love it. Two ridiculously quick cars here. So Pete Jackson, he's in the energy check lane. Good looking run for him there, 10.12, 129. And 33 goes through with a 14.17. Try and catch up with the details on that driver. Here we go. That certainly sounds like a Ford 2 litre down there. It's not a Ford 2 litre, but it is a 2 litre. That's a Toyota MR2 power plant in the back of that. This is the Rat. Adam Skinner. Really does pull impressive wheelies off the line. Trying to keep it in a straight line is the interesting part. There it goes. Whoa, taking a little wander. And a good first run there for the slingshot. 13.65 and a 12.44. Well, Adam can go a little bit quicker than that, fair to say. But a nice little run there for the slingshot, though. That's Brian Watson in the interest-free car. Try Chevy against Anglia, or Prefect in this particular matchup. But obviously with a lot of these cars able to hot lap as such, these guys are getting straight back into the pairing lanes and getting themselves down ready to have another go. Don't blame you folks, you've got to make the most of this while you can. Weather looks like it may hold for the rest of the day now, fingers crossed. I made the fatal error earlier on of saying that we were going to be good all day, and I must apologise for that, because a couple of hours later the rain appeared from absolutely nowhere. It wasn't on the weather radar at all, but it sort of manifested itself and reared its ugly head, and we didn't like that. Barracuda and another Tri Chevy. And both left the line too quick, so I could actually spot their race numbers. Apologies for that, folks. You got one Outlaw street car with a 55. Sorry, the 55 is in the other lane. So let's have it at 13.12. Moves up from number 55. Sorry, that was his position in the But to be fair, that's the closest pairing of the day, 13.12 and a 13.11. Hence, they are 37 and 38 on the list. Right, Matt Cooper. Good to see Matt back. A lot of work's happened on this car in the off-season. Got nice new set of Hoosiers on the back. Trust me, that's not the only new parts he's got this weekend. Also done a lot of work on the race outfit as well. Looking very presentable indeed. Right, Simon Glenn with the 48 Austin pickup. He's in the other lane. Well, Matt wasn't shy. The loud pedal there gave it everything off the line, but just going towards the centre line a bit, so backed off it, gathered it up, went straight, and still goes through with a 12.15 at 93 miles an hour. Well, unfortunately, the Austin got a problem there as it's being shut off and being pushed back. Not only that, the driver's got out as well to aid with the process there. Not only that, a bit of fluid like water. Right, Camaro to the fore with a lot of engine sticking out of the hood there. Now again, don't know a huge amount about this one. Apart from the fact that may go rather well. One 66 to 60 foot. Aiming for the 11s perhaps? Or is it a 12? Oh, it's an 11. 11.66, 116. All right, Dean Hemblade once again with the Chevy. At the moment, being the best of 15.92. And goes 16.05 on that one. All right, Terry Smith then. Let's see how he gets on. Best of a 15.89 at the moment this weekend. Best of 15.2 goes 16.15 on that one. I don't know much about this car, unfortunately. Has been the best today so far, 16.07. .48, 84 miles an hour. '37 Ford Coupe. Really riding the clutch. That's going to be a bit fried at the end of that run. Stays put on 13.08. Chevy pickup back round once again. Let's see how Adam gets on this time. Best so far for Adam today. Let's have a look, see where he's been. 13.41 so far. Does suffer from lack of weight over the rear axle, so the rear tyres do spin up quite free and easily, but not so much that time round. Still goes 13.76 at 94 miles an hour. Outlaw Anglia to the fore once again. So very, very strong entry this weekend. Now, I do believe Outlaw Anglia are running to Darlin this weekend because of the sheer number of cars. I stand corrected if that's not the case. Normally they're heads-up class. But let's see what unfolds. And I will check in with the powers that be on Outlaw Anglia just to double-check that. But from what I understand, unusually for them this weekend may be a Darlin. Cue abuse on social media if I've got that wrong, and I do apologise. Well, a little bit long on the old throttle pedal there when the run had clearly disappeared, but wasn't giving in. But well gathered, nevertheless. Give that driver a straitjacket. All right, looking in the pairing lanes, I can't actually see directly who's... Ah, the Morgan's down there. I saw this on the Run What You Brung entry forms, and was looking forward to seeing it. Now, finally get the chance to. This is Paul Riley. Never seen the car before. Going alongside Dan Dredge with the Mustang. Well, the Morgan has certainly got potential, that's for sure. Certainly got some power in there. There's 12.63 against lose out 13.6. Ah, the Morris Minor, that's had a few runs today. Ah, the first time we've seen Guy King this weekend with the big Chevelle. PB'd the national finals last year, went 9-2. And this has a habit of standing on the wheelie bar. So if all goes well, this could be quickest car of the day so far. 9:42 is the benchmark at the moment. But cameras at the ready. Looks like John Spord is ready to catch this one. Well, it would have been good if the car didn't set loose on the rear tyres there. But cheeky little wheelie, but that's all that Guy was able to do on that particular run. Morris Minor goes through with a 15.08 at 91 miles an hour, and Guy King coasts the stripe at 48 miles an hour. Right, it's going to be Ted Booth, I think, in the Anglia. Ted and Katie are swapping over as planned, so probably a nitrous assisted pass in the nines. And the fabulous addition to the Williams Brothers racing fleet. This is Dan Williams with the Impala. Only had the car a couple of weeks. Sign written by the great Neil Melliard on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Took the car to the Billing show, the American Auto Club event, and got a top 10 trophy there. So well done to Dan. But this is more of a race car than a show car, but absolutely glorious thing this. Went in the 16s earlier. Hopefully he's done some work on the car to try and get it to go quick. It needs to break 14.99 to get into Nostalgia Superstock. So he'll be trying everything he can. He's bought a selection of carburetors, but it's only a 327 cubic inch, and it is the original numbers matching engine in there. 993 for Ted Booth, that's looking good. And lo and behold, Dan Williams goes 1571. He's just found 0.7 of a second, so he's halfway there. Just got to find another 7/10, and Dan will be legal for the Sauter Superstock. Sticking with the stockers then, this is Pete Wiseman with the damage case. And Lisanne Doyle with that beautiful 100E. Really do like both of these cars. Pete Wiseman hooks the front up there. Nice, 135. 14.7. Now, if memory serves me right, this Chevy's got a 454 under the hood, and it doesn't hang about. Going alongside a car that I've never seen before on a drag strip, but the engine certainly sits hard at the roof line of the car. $10-12, 134 for the Chevy, and $11-12, 117. The great thing with Run What You Brung, and sometimes the confusing thing is two cars appear underneath the tower, you haven't got a clue what's going to be appearing, and then it's a scrabble on the notes to see who's got what. But certainly one of the 100E contenders this weekend. That's Sean Doyle, but unfortunately the car is stopped about 60 foot out. 10.41, 131 for the pickup. That was moving on at the top end there. But Sean Doyle got the car going. Well, without a shadow of a doubt, the burnout of the day so far for Colin Miller. The crowd appreciating that one. And all being well, we should see a 7-second pass here from the Flying Pfeiffer. Now, the clues will be there. If you see the little nitrous purge appear, then we expect to see a 7-second run. If the nitrous isn't purged, which means obviously a non-nitrous pass, we expect to see something in the 8s, assuming that it's a full pull and the car goes all the way through. Now, Colin's first run of the year, so maybe it'd be a non-nitrous run, but we'll see in a moment. Yeah, even Dave Warren appreciating that burnout. Right, that to me says a non-nitrous run, so expect to see a run in the 8s. Oh, how close to the centre line do you want to get, Mr. Miller? Didn't touch it though. Gets back on it. 1075, 141. But as calm as you like. Uh, 1506 at 73 miles an hour for the Ford in the other lane. First chance in ages I've had a chance to look behind me to see what's coming up. Right, from the Gasser Circus, we've got the straight shooter. That's the, I believe that's the 48 Austin pickup of Simon Glenn. It is indeed. I didn't quite see who was in the other lane. Wait for it to come underneath the tower. Ah, liking that. One of the Ford Coupes here this weekend. Something about the 32, 34 Fords that just makes them absolutely killer. Ah, Simon Glenn unfortunately been pushed back. Quite now, that's the second time that's happened to him, unfortunately. Very frustrating when a car won't do as it's told. 1180, 117.63 for the only colour on a race car, of course, black. Right, from the Wild Bunch then, this is the Purple Days Altered. Sorry, I think that's the wrong class. I think that could actually be from Supercharged Outlaws, actually. Getting the Days cars modelled up. Yeah, that must be from Supercharged Outlaws, this one. Serious bit of kit, though. So sometimes you see this chassis with a chassis like this with a funny car body on it, but sometimes they look damn sight better with an altered body. So the Purple Days car, supercharged. Let's see what we got. First outing this weekend, and could instantly be the quickest car of the meet so far. That number currently 9.42. Quite a soft setting on the drivetrain, but nevertheless that is an arrow straight run and goes 10.04, 140 mile an hour, building speed all the way through the run. The 60 foot was quite interesting, only 1.69, shows how soft the settings were for the clutch and the drivetrain system. Very soft indeed. A car like that should normally go a fair bit quicker off the line, but just getting everything bedded in. No point trying to be a hero on the first run completely. So nicely done there. 10.04, 140 miles an hour. Still getting people signing on actually, which is really good. So I'm getting more information sheets up, which I didn't have before, including that Camaro that ran earlier on. Didn't have a sheet on that one at the time. All right, one of our Nostalgia Superstock entries. This is the flag jumper, and was definitely mucking around with me, thinking it would run a 16.3. Of course not. That's his race number. All right, earlier on this car went 12.28. Goes 12.32 this time. 109 miles an hour at the stripe. Sometimes a car appears on the start line. First of all, you don't know who it is and what it's capable of. But in the same breath, you look at it, you think, oh, God, I'd like that. Especially when it's got that sort of power to play with. That is a little bit of an animal. Or is it a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing? You call it what you like, but that ain't hanging about at all. 11.77, 126 miles an hour at the stripe. 60 foot was 2.07. That was at least half a second loss there. So that car easily capable, and I say easily capable of running in the 10s. So that car certainly going to be getting quicker as the weekend progresses. All it needs to do is get it hooked up and get it off the start line. Hooking up and getting off the start line. The 32 is going really well for the... I lost how many times this run. 10, 12 so far. Are we in the 9s? Oh no, 10, 17, 129. Not far away from a 9-second pass at all. Right, Brian Watson with interest free. This is the new entry into the Wild Bunch in the energy check lanes. Had a couple of shut-off runs earlier on with a slight leak from the front of the engine, but it looks like everything's a-okay for this one. Has actually run a best of 10.54 with this car. I'll tell you what, that's a good looking run actually. 11.39 at 109. And the angle goes through 17.50 at 81 miles an hour. Well, looking at the continuity of cars going through, looks like the pairing lane's got quite a few cars in it at the moment. Very good to see indeed. Still a few cars we're expecting to see we haven't seen yet though. Right, the licensing continues for Rob Brown with the Rebel Slingshot for the Wild Bunch. Now his first run was the burnout and launch. This one should be the half pass. So absolutely everything by the book on this one. Dave Warren watching closely. We know these guys are very experienced. To be fair, Rob and Pete Brown have been running in the Wild Bunch for quite a few years with their previous car, the Wrathchild, but this is a whole different kettle of fish, this one. The Rebel, capable of 8-second passes at will, but he's got to go through the process before he's able to let rip completely. And he's done his burnout and launched. This will be the half pass. So if he's doing it by the book and how I think they're going to do this, this will be a half pass. So take it to just beyond the second or the first pair of blocks, and then he'll click it, and that is exactly what he's done. I'm not sure if he has to pull the chute or not. He does, yes. I thought he did. Yeah, and a thumbs up for Dave Warren. That was pretty much... Now it's 2 full pulls. That's what he's got to do. 2 full pulls. In actual fact, to be fair to the Brown boys, that was a textbook licensing pass. Take it up to half track. He literally clicked it as he went past the second of the 2 blocks there, coasted to the finishing line, pulled the parachute. You have to show that you know, and I'll quickly go through this. You have to show that you know where everything is in the car. There is no point barreling down the shutdown area for the first time in a high performance car and where's the parachute lever, and you don't know where everything is. That is a recipe for disaster. That's why you have licensing, to show that you have full control of the car, but you also know where everything is inside the car. Very, very important indeed. That's why we have licensing. It may look slow to what they previously run, but it's the process they have to go through. So well done to the Maras. That's the second part of the licensing done. I think it's 2 full pulls now. The best of luck later on. Right, the Austin Lily Sprite, or the Fright as we call it, goes 11.21 at 112, and 12.77 for the Barracuda, 106. Right, Outlaw Anglia and Tri Chevy. Nice mix of vehicles today. We're really enjoying this today. It's chilled out, it's nice. Shame about that weather delay, but looks like we are set fair for the rest of the day, and should make the evening a lot less painful than it could have been if you're all sat in caravans and tents trying to get yourselves warm and that. But a 3-day event here for the NSRA supported Nostalgia Nationals here at SantaPod Raceway. Tomorrow we continue with Run What You Brung, but it's also qualifying day for our race classes. And these two cars will be taking part, one in the Tribe Chevy Shootout and the other in Outlaw Anglia. .10.28, 136, good looking run that one. Right, Dave Mahoney with the Camaro. And another one of the Outlaw Anglias. I wish I had a full entry list of Outlaw Anglia this weekend. So, the quickest car on the premises. There are quicker ones, but they haven't proved it yet. So, Dave holds you on at the moment, a 9:42. His second run was a 9:43. Capable of dipping into the 8. So, this car, let's see what he's got for us this time. That is a much harder launch. So, come on, Dave. Let's see what it's got. See what it's got. Ah, 9:53, 143. Well, it's consistent, if anything. Don't get me wrong, that is still seriously quick. But we know it's got that little bit more in it. Still the quickest car here to put a time on the boards today. Just check the auto clim lane. Didn't see anything untoward with Dave's run there, but obviously the track crew may have spotted something. Right, Brian Savage with the 32. Right, well, you could almost set your watch by this car. 10.60 was its first run, 10.55. It's always going to be there or thereabouts. I don't think this car knows how to run anything else apart from a 10. Beautifully prepared, one of the cleanest you'll ever see. Absolutely loves life driving this car. There you go, 10.58 in between the two. Perfect. 125 miles an hour at the stripe. I'll tell you what, he loves it. Every single pass in that car. So many years experience working on, well, pretty much everything in the world of drag racing as Brian. And an all-round good egg as well. Well, absolutely no issues for this old school Ford. Oh, and I say a very old school Ford. You normally class old school Fords as like Mark 1, Mark 2 Escorts, that sort of thing, but this is even older school. Tyres got very loose off the start line there. The car went for a little wander. And actually, to be fair, it looks like the car's leaning over a bit, so perhaps they need to have a look at the setup in the pits on that. But the tilt angle seems a little bit more than perhaps what was intended. So it looks like the tractor's just going to go out and have a little sweep in the auto glim lane. We've got the pairing lanes fairly full of cars at the moment as they get ready to come round and put some runs in here on Run What You Brung Day here at the NSRA Nostalgia Nationals. Final reminders coming up next weekend. It is the Door Slammers, and if you haven't entered, you're running out of time. Get your entries in and come to what potentially could be the meeting of the year. And I'm not saying that to put other meetings down. I am saying it because this meeting could be, well, just right out there. 1320 Video are coming to cover this one, and they cover a lot of the events in the States, but they've chosen this weekend to cover an event at SantaPod Raceway. You have got the biggest field ever of front-wheel drive cars currently sitting at 49, and I bet when I check in later on that's going to be higher. You've got over 42 cars entered into the big bracket, approaching 30 in the four-cylinder class. But how about Pro Door Slammer? 25 cars entered. And do you know what? That could be 25 cars capable of running in the 5-second zone. I know some of them have only run sixes, but apart from safety, the rules have been, well, thrown out the window. Basically, you can run whatever combination you like, as long as it adheres to safety standards required for the class that they run in. So the Pro Mods can take us some weight off, and we've got some outlaw cars coming from Scandinavia. And those of you that were here last year to witness Matthias Vulcan run those incredible mid 5-second passes over 260 miles an hour, well, multiply that by quite a lot, and that's the recipe for an incredible event next weekend. It's a 3-dayer. Friday is now a full-on day. Actually, it was just going to be like a test day, but no, it's a full event day now. And with the size of some of the fields, we may have to do some eliminations Saturday evening, but final details still being worked out for this one as the entries are coming in thick and fast. Not only that, it's Transit Mania, so if Ford Transits float your boat, then quite a few of those will be coming up. And trust me, some of these Transits are very cleverly done, and certainly worth checking them out. Also added into the mix, it is Big Bang Camper and Bus Show as well. They've got their own plot sorted out here at SantaPod Raceway. That is the chilled out VW Camper and Bus Show. You name it, everything VW will be here for that weekend. The place is going to be full to the rafters. If you're not coming, well, just change your plans. Get yourselves up here. It is going to be phenomenal. There's always one ingredient we always look for, and that's the weather, but the long range forecast looks pretty decent, so we should be in for an epic weekend. So that's Door Slammers here next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then whilst you're checking in for that event, well, stay in the locality. A week later, starting on the Thursday, it is the main event, the first round of the FIA and FIM European Championships, featuring Top Fuel Dragster, Nitro Funny Car, the Pro Mods, Top Methanol. We got Jets on site as well, and of course the first round of the European Drag Bike Championships as well for some of the classes. Don't forget Super Street Bike has already started, but Top Fuel Bikes, the Super Twins, and Pro Stock Bike will be in attendance as well, along with the junior bikes and of course Super Street Bike, and that is going to be a real bun fight. 16 bike class, but 26 have entered. 10 of them will not qualify. We expect a European record bump spot in Super Street Bike. So that's all coming up in 2 weeks' time for the main event. Thursday is the test day. Friday is sportsman qualifying day. Saturday, Sunday, the pros come out to play, and then eliminations on Bank Holiday Monday. It's an epic month here at SantaPod Raceway. Last weekend was the Spring Speed Nationals, a very good event indeed, purely for our sportsman racers. This weekend, we turn the clocks back. Anything prior 1973 can take part. It's a full-blown 3-day event. Nice to see that the weather has finally come on our side well and truly this afternoon. Goodness me, it's getting warm and warmer. But a chilled out event. This is a nice one to be part of, but then it's all hands on deck as we get ready for the onslaught of the next 2 weeks. So once again, thank you ever so much to everybody coming, making SantaPod Raceway your venue of choice, as we like to say. And let's hope you continue to come up here for the rest of the month and of course the rest of the year. So just to rest the vocal cords for a minute, whilst the tractor just does a little bit of prep work in the Autoglue Lane. We'll be back shortly with a continuation of Run What You Brung here at the NSRA Nostalgia Nationals. Well, that's a little bit different to what we normally get on the track. They've actually had to go out with a quad with the mat on the back. We think some, like, I don't know, roll cage padding or some foam or something has come out of one of the cars having just done a run. But unfortunately, it's gone into sort of like confetti mode. So that's why we're down at the moment, just whilst we get rid of all of that stuff at the top end. So a bit of a bizarre moment for our track crew. Basically, someone's, I can only assume, is somebody's left some padding in the car that shouldn't have been in there, or somebody's roll cage foam is a little bit old and has decided to disintegrate and deposit itself on the track. So that's the reason why we're down at the moment. There's no fluid or anything up there, it's just a bit of debris. So just a few minutes to clear that up, and we'll be back running with you very shortly indeed. Still plenty of vehicles in the pairing lanes to come round. We've got the Volvo Ain't No Saint head of the pairing lanes at the moment, and a absolutely drop dead gorgeous 57 Chevy that is absolutely glistening in the sunlight here. That is one cool looking motor car. Very, very nice indeed. I wouldn't mind taking that home tonight. Mind you, the missus would go absolutely mad at me spending money once again. I'm not allowed to spend any more. We've also got that 383 cubic inch small block Vauxhall down there. Oh, apologies for that, the phone's going. Do you hate it when your mobile phone goes? And I think a lot of you can sympathise with this one, where it just says the name of a town, and then they ring for 3 and then it rings off. Another one of those junk phone calls that unfortunately everybody gets. Well, these people can just go and do one. I ain't going to answer your phone call, and I suggest none of you lot do either. They only want to sell you something, but absolute plague they are. I hate them with a vengeance. So the quad looks like it's just about to go back on station, or no, I tell a lie, it's still clearing up stuff, but this time going into the shutdown area, so we're just getting rid of the last few remnants of what was left up there. Just having a look down in the lanes, looks like Ronnie Mercer getting ready for another run with Annie. Went very well, Leon. Indeed, Ronnie. How are we doing, mate? Good to see you. Liking the new crew shirts, by the way. Looking very smart indeed. Smarter than you. So, of course, Outlaw Anglia, one of our race classes this weekend. Really looking forward to seeing how they all get on this weekend. But pairing lanes, chock-a-blocks with cars. We're just waiting for this the mat to disappear from the top end once the remainder of that debris, of whatever that was that came out of one of those cars, has been swept up. But can't have any debris on the track. Obviously, we don't want to run anything over at all. Can get into the carburettor on some of the cars, can cause all sorts of damage. So we want to give you the best racing surface possible. So it's not only fluid that we try to avoid, but of course any debris as well. So the top end crew just sorting that one out. Okay, so the quad has cleared the top end, and we are back once again with Run What You've Rung and this drop-dead gorgeous 57 Chevy I was mentioning earlier on. And it's the Ain't No Saint, the Volvo. Just having a look on social media, actually. SantaPod Raceway is live with their various cameras, and nice to see so many people checking us out, tuning into the coverage. And of course, not forgetting, we do have a global reach here as well, and great to see that somebody that I met in Gainesville has tuned in this afternoon. Michael Bennett, yes, you Michael, good afternoon to you, mate. Well, good morning to you, it's obviously afternoon here. Nice to see that you're checking out SantaPod Raceway. And once again, Mike, thank you ever so much indeed for that lovely package of stickers that you sent over to me. Massively appreciated, and look forward to catching up with you hopefully again next year. Make that return trip to Gainesville once again. 10.98 for the Ain't No Saint Volvo, 122 miles an hour. Well, here's a mix of cars if you ever want to see them. You've got the 57 Gasser, the Frankenstein car, and this, well, lovely Vauxhall Cresta, Victor Estate with a 383 under the hood and a 9-inch rear. Lovely looking car, very quick indeed. Super cool, super cool. $12.72 for the Vauxhall, $15.95. Actually, in fact, just looking at the television feed, that it's a multi-camera angles that you're getting here from the live stream. Absolutely fantastic images that you're seeing here today. So, well, if you like your Willis, how about this 41 Willis? Just one decal on the car, as per the film, Sleep at Violet Springs. Now then, let's see how the Willis got on earlier. Car did a 12.40 and 12.41 this time round. Only 1/100 of a second difference from his two runs today so far. All right, Ford Mustang into the Auto Glim lane, going alongside, of course, Ruby. The Outlaw Anglia of Kim Harrison. Husband Rod used to run in top methanol dragster as well as Super Pro ET, but that car's now made way for this lovely Anglia. Kim absolutely was itching to get behind the wheel of a car. And what a better way to enjoy their racing as a family than this particular car here. Carl, their son, cruise for many people, including Jason Phelps on the Nitro Funny car. And of course, the Nitro Bug will be out soon, belonging to Andy Raw. Well, in performance terms, there's not that much between these two, actually. 11.62 plays the 11.75, but Kim's just gone way quicker, actually. 11.48, 124. That car really does build some speed up at the stripe, actually. Very soft off the line, but certainly piles it on towards. Right, this is Mark Bartlett with the VW Beetle, the noisy bugger. This is PB at 10.4, 131. The power plant in the car, though, certainly not VW. That's got a 400 cubic inch Pontiac lump in there. Tell you what, if he continues like that, he's on the verge of beating a 10.4 this weekend. 10.69 at 126. And he ain't going to be trying to go any slower this weekend. So a very good run indeed there. 13.06 on 107 in the energy check lane. All right, first appearance then of the Hallam Willis. Runs in the Gasser Circus and the Zodiac. So Martin Hallam, he is the 2018 champion in the Gasser Circus with the 33 Willis Coupe. So his title defence begins this weekend. And a nice opener there, 10.87 at 118. 13.49 at 99 miles an hour for the Zodiac. We'll have a bit more on that car next time it comes round. Loads of wheel spin off the line for the Willis, but gets it hooked up and off it goes again. Still got gear selection problems for the Ford in the auto-dim lane. Right, the Morgan's back round for another run. Now we know this car has got huge potential. It's just a case of getting it hooked up. It's quite a lightweight car, not specifically designed for drag racing, so you have to be quite clever with your engineering to try and get this thing to work. Once again, lots of wheel spin off the line, but a much better looking run this time round. Went 12.55 earlier, and there's the change, 11.87, 122 miles an hour. 19.5 there for the Chevy. Now, Andy Park went 10, do you know what, I can't remember what he actually went now. 10.05, then he went 10.01, so the form book says his third run should be the 9.9 that we're looking for from Andy. Beautiful car, you really need to check this one out. It looks quite confined inside, but still beautifully prepared, and it ain't no slouch either, going alongside the big Chevy pickup, and that hasn't been hanging around today either. So let's see if Andy can run a 9. Cheeky little wheelie off the line. Arrow straight as you'd expect from Andy. Oh, 10.06, 133. Well, he's got a bracket car. Very, very consistent, but it'd be nice to see a little 9 appear. Fractional headwind, but not a huge amount, so never know, his next run might just do it. Well, the Moggy Miner's certainly getting a good few runs in today, which is good to see. And, oh, a little purge of nitrous from Annie. This gorgeous Outlaw Anglia. Perhaps Ronnie could be aiming for the 9s after all today. He's not far off it. He's in the 10s already today. I'll tell you what, no matter where that car was going, the right foot wasn't going to be lifted off the throttle at all the way through. Oh, 10.06, that was ridiculously close to that 9. 132 mile an hour is a good speed at the top end. 15.33 at 87 miles an hour for the Morris Minor. Now this I have been looking forward to immensely. Simon Barlow with the Outlaw Anglia ran a 7 last year. He's entered into door slammers and he's mixing it up with the big boys in Pro Door Slammer. Engine, shall we say, maintained and looked after by Carl Harrison and the gang. Right, Katie Booth in the Mighty Mouse Outlaw Anglia, but I think to be fair, all the concentration is going to be on Simon Barlow here. First run of the year. Well, if the burnout meant anything, then he may be going for this. Normally your first run of the year is a bit of a checkout pass or maybe a half pass, but I don't think half is a word that Simon actually understands. So the parachute's just been armed. Well, if you want a very good brains trust in the engine department on your team, you can't get much better than Carl Harrison. He certainly knows his stuff. Even John Webster's down on the start line for this one as well. Wants to see how we get on. Oh no, tiny fluid leak at the front. Oh, pesky little leaks. Don't you just hate them? But it's the right thing to do if there is something not quite right. .10.53, 128 there for Katie. Well, whatever it was minuscule, but it was certainly enough to prevent the run from happening. Not quite sure what the issue is, but the team will have a look at that. Car looks absolutely killer though, it really does, and a full credit to the Orange Pop team, really superb. Don't worry, they'll be back a little bit later on, they'll get that sorted. Now, one of the reasons why they won't try and do it again straight away if there is nothing that they can see, obviously needs to go back to the pits and get it refueled. One of the reasons that they don't go for it straight away once again. Right, next up then, Dan Williams with the Impala. Do you know what, I never thought I'd say Dan Williams and Impala in the same sentence, but that's what we got these days. Dan purchased this car a couple of weeks ago and has already started the tuning process. Has gone from 16.4 to 15.7. But the class that he wants to run in, it needs to be 14.99 or quicker to be Nostalgia Superstock legal. How we doing? Oh, lovely. Yeah, perfect. I need that. That's great. Thank you very much indeed. Awesome.
I think it's an essay.
Yeah, it's a good one from Dopey. I like the team look, by the way. Looking good. Looking good.
Working hard this year.
Right, I love it when teams come up and give us a load of notes as well. So I've got an episode of War and Peace to read for Freddy's Revenge as they take part in Supercharged Outlaws this weekend. So many thanks indeed to the team for that one. Right, a couple of Nostalgia Superstockers. And actually, had two new cars actually, because the I think there's a Duster in the energy check lane. I don't think I've seen before either. I've only seen Dan's car at the workshops of Williams Brothers Racing. Haven't seen it anywhere else yet. So let's see how he gets on then. 15.7 was the last run. Work in progress as Dan tries to eke every single ounce of power out of the 327 under the hood. And he's found a bit more, 15.56 at 91 miles an hour, so he's just got about half a second to find now. He's getting closer and closer and closer.
So it's 4A.
Oh, right, okay. Right, Alex has been in touch and says, hi, mate, do you reckon you or your dad could ask the radio guys to do a shout out for me, Sarah, and for Andy's, oh, it's Andy's 60th, is it? Well, Andy, happy 60th birthday. We'll get the finer details of that one a little bit later on, but that's a 60th birthday shout out gone on, and we'll get more details on that one a little bit later on. 9.73, wow, stout run indeed there. 131 mile an hour and 11.10, 117. Well, Simon Barlow heads back to the pits. Let's just fingers crossed it's a pesky little leak, nothing more than that. And please, guys, love to see that car back down again for maybe a run later on this afternoon. But that has got potential with a capital P written all over it. And all being well, that car will be in the sevens once again this weekend. But the car looks absolutely killer. And trust me, when I say that sounded good, that sounded real good from up here. That burnout was, let's just say, that wasn't planning on going slowly up that track at all. So look forward to seeing Simon Barlow and that car back down on the start line later on this afternoon. Well, they're coming at us thick and fast this afternoon. And a right old mix of vehicles making their way around, and oh, this for a slingshot, absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Another one out of the Webster mould, I do believe. Ah, he's absolutely gorgeous. Always love it when a car makes a debut and the driver is not frightened on his right foot whatsoever. Hit it hard, hit it strong. Even Tog at Euro Dragster's in a prime spot to get some great pictures of this new car making a debut here this weekend. And once again, you've got John Webster on your crew, and I think this is one of the sister cars to the previous two that has been built through that workshop with the same basic setup. Slightly different rear end though, twin parachutes, where some of the early cars only had a single. So, checkout pass in the auto lane for the Webster built slingshot. See how this one goes. Well, as a checkout pass to go 9.67 first time behind the wheel, I reckon that was pretty good actually. 123 miles an hour, shoots out at the top end. Good to get yourself familiar with all the controls in the car. And a first ride in that car, very good indeed. Considering the back end was slipping around a little bit. We like that a lot. So it takes the top end turning perfectly. job done. Ah, right, one of the Maltese Ford Escorts. So just found the detail. Typically after the car did its run, there's a nostalgia front engine dragster. Silber Blitz is the name of that car. That's a Zoltan Christian from Austria. That slingshot, that'll be making another appearance later on this afternoon. Right, 2.1 litre, 4-cylinder Ford Escort. Drive it like you stole it. I love this. This will be here at the Door Slammers next weekend. 11:18, 115 miles an hour. 10:50, 130 miles an hour for the pickup. All right, great mix of cars coming around. This is Simon Rickwood with the Bossa Nova. Haven't seen Simon for a little while. Good to see him back this weekend. Big wheel stand there. Probably one of the biggest wheel stands he's ever pulled, to be fair. Goes 1068, 112, and that was with a big pedal as well. Goes to show that the cow tracks are working beautifully there, perhaps a little bit too well. Well, if Simon Rickwood hasn't already got them, then I think some wheelie bars could be invested in for that car. And talking of wheelie bars, check out the Pontiac Firebird Formula of James Oliver. He's next in the energy check lane, and that car has a massive tendency to lift the front wheels and can carry them over the 60-foot marker. Now, Ollie won't be proud of me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. He now holds the distance record into the field at the top end of the drag strip, which, to be honest, I don't think will ever be beaten. Ollie at the Easter meeting had total brake failure whilst barreling through the finishing line, but not only that, these cars have what's called a safe neutral, so you switch the engine off and then use the brakes to slow down. But he had no braking force whatsoever, went straight into the field, went past the wind turbine, up to the bridleway, managed to put some left-hand lock, and then managed to do a 180-degree turn in the field and started heading up into the return road up the other end. Lovely wheels up launch there for Ollie. Now then, are we going to see a 9.5 off the trailer? That is a good-looking run. 969, 135. That will do nicely. 1058, 129 miles an hour for the Mustang. But 969 puts Ollie third on the quick list today. Well, to be fair, the quick list could all about to change, as if Mick Taylor gets the Banshee to hook up and go, and if he runs to form, then this will instantly be the quickest car of the day. But as I keep saying, this is a lot of racers' first outing this year here today, so they want to get themselves at least one run to get back into the seat, just to remind them just how great drag racing is, and then they can concentrate on getting the job done. Going alongside the 34. Relatively soft launch there for Mick Taylor, but now the power comes in. Nice straight run, but it's not going to set the world right on time. 973 moves up into the number 4 spot on the day. Sorry, number 5. 144 mile an hour, good turn of speed at the stripe. 1548. At 57 miles an hour off the gas, very early indeed. For the Ford. Big flames out of the pipes there for the acute angle Ford. Paul Dale from the Supercharged Outlaws. Cracking car, this one. Going alongside, I don't know much about the wagon here, but it's purging the nitrous, so that gives you half a clue as to the potential of this machine. It's got a half rat look, half uncared for look about it, but if you look at the mechanicals underneath, there's a serious bit of kit in there. Earlier run actually did get a little bit wayward off the line, too much power for the grip available, but nevertheless when that thing hooks and goes, expect to see some good 10-11 second passes. Cough and a splutter there for Paul Dale, but that's what testing is all about. Meanwhile, in the Auto Glim lane, that is an arrow straight run, and it's in the 10s, 10.99, 131 miles an hour. Certainly one of the cars I need to go and check out in the pits later on. Really like to have a closer look at that one. Right, the frog-eyed Sprite. Fright. This car capable of hot lapping with the best of them. I've been to some meetings where this car has literally done a run, come straight back down to the start line and gone again. Getting the most out of it. Going alongside Adam Skinner with the Rat. Rear engine. And I believe this is Toyota MR2 powered. I'm sure Adam will correct me if I'm wrong on this one. But young lad who has got a great amount of driving talent, and one of the stable of cars from Taz Racing. One of the shortest wheelbases you'll ever contend with. Has fallen over a couple of times as well. 1094, 131 miles an hour there for the Rat. Dismiss that car at your peril. It does not look like it's going to be that quick. But trust me, 1094 in a shopping trolley, well, the wheelbase of a shopping trolley is seriously impressive. Plenty of machinery in the pairing lanes to come at you, folks. Chill out and enjoy this glorious afternoon here at the pod for the NSRA Nostalgia Nationals. Don't forget, if you want to check out the latest event merchandise through the NSRA, they've got their marquee set up next to the pairing lanes by the crossroads. So if you want to check out the event stuff, just pop over and see the team over there. It's the double mini marquee over there, right next to the crossroads in the pairing lanes. Right, another one of the Wild Bunch putting a run in. 1090 at 127 miles an hour. That was Graham Rawlings with the Little Digger. Just got 127 miles an hour. And actually, to be fair, that is a PB on speed. Previous best was 126, so 127.35. I don't know if you count that in what you brung, but certainly a good run indeed. So picking up a lot of speed at the top end. Right, a couple of the 100Es back out for yet another run. Actually, to be fair, they're getting some runs in today. Paul Lawn, he's in the energy check lane. Got so many sheets of paper to find everybody's details on there. 1472, oh, minuscule improvement there. All right then, folks, we've got about half an hour left of Run What You Brung. So make sure you are in the lanes, otherwise you might not get another run in today. So just over half an hour left of Run What You Brung today. So if you want to get your last shot in, get back into the pairing lanes as soon as possible, because they will be closed off shortly. Well, I don't know how many are in the lanes, but we've got just over half an hour of Run What You Brung left today. But make the most of a glorious evening tonight, folks. I know it's a chill out zone tonight. Really nice weather out there. Get some barbecues going and just chill out. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a continuation of the event. Track opens 9:30 in the morning, and it's Run What You Brung, and it's also qualifying for Supercharged Outlaws, for Nostalgia Superstock, Gasser Circuits, Wild Bunch, and of course Tri Chevys as well. Great mix of vehicles here this weekend. Right, Dave Mahoney with the Camaro, quickest car on the premises to record a time this weekend. There are quicker cars, but they haven't put the times up yet, so Dave Mahoney is the quickest at the moment. Going alongside, well, it's a Falcon pickup, otherwise known as a Ranchero, in the energy check lane. A beautifully presented car as well. And it ain't no slouch either. Well, Dave Mahoney's had consistent runs in the 9.4s today. See if you can go just a tad quicker on this one. 9.54, 147, but the brakes were on as he went across the stripe. 12.49 at 107 for the Ford pickup. So just a reminder, you good racers out there, I've got about half an hour of Run What You Brung left for today. If you want to get your final runs and get into the lanes as soon as possible, there will become a point where we have enough cars to fill the last half an hour. We'll shut the lanes off. So if you want to get in the lanes, get in to do so as soon as possible, please, as soon as possible. Because that point will come where we can't take any more for today. Well, as I said earlier on, the racing here has been broadcast through the SantaPodTV channel. So coverage available across the internet and visible around the world. And wherever you're tuned in from, thank you so much indeed for joining in. Don't forget, this is day 1 of 3 for the NSRA Nationals here at SantaPod Raceway. I gave him a shout out earlier. I'm going to give him another one just in case you didn't hear the one earlier. And that is one of our viewers from Florida in the United States, a chap called Michael Bennett. Mike, good afternoon to you, buddy. We met in Gainesville earlier on this year in March, and struck up sort of a friendship there. So Mike, good afternoon to you, mate, and well, late good morning to you. Thank you ever so much indeed for sending the old stickers over. I've made use of most of them already, so massively appreciated, and hopefully we can catch up again if I make it over to Gainesville next year, but it's certainly on the list. And also shout out to Paul that's just messaged me. I've had a brief look at your message, and I will have a closer look a bit later on when obviously not in full-blown commentary here. And I know he's another guy that wants to go to Gainesville for 2020. Awesome facility, and if there was a twinning program between drag strips in the world, I think SantaPod and Gainesville will be a good matchup. Both of them just had new concrete tracks laid, and both of them hold fantastic events. That's no disrespect to any other drag strip in the world, but I haven't been to many. But I'm fortunate enough to go to Gainesville this year. Right, it's absolutely gorgeous 57 Chevy. Up against the Ain't No Saint Volvo. Don't forget, this is racing, this is just purely run what you brung. And it is to see what you've got, basically. But 25 quid for unlimited runs. The only limiting factor is two things. A, the amount of time that the track is open due to weather or track conditions. And secondly, the sheer volume of cars or contestants here. Sometimes you get hardly anybody here and the track's open all day long, and you can get run after run after run. Sometimes it gets so busy you can only get 2, maybe 3 runs in. It purely depends on the day. But today's looking pretty good. Shame about the weather earlier on today, but it is certainly come round into a beautiful afternoon here. And if you looked at the earlier forecast in the week, you would have seen that the weather forecast today was dire, and it wasn't worth getting out of bed for. How wrong was that? Item of news, actually, those of you that don't know already, but very sad to see the passing of Freddie Starr yesterday, the great legendary comedian, and which was rather disappointing. They will announce all sorts of other news, but when you get a comedy legend like that was groundbreaking in many ways, that passes away and doesn't even make a news story, then that is a real sad state of affairs. But Freddie Starr, absolute legend, and despite all of his comedy and groundbreaking acts, he will just be remembered for one Sun News headline all those years ago. Yes, you know the one I'm on about, but trust me, he was a lot more than Freddie Starr ate my hamster. He really was. So, rest in peace, Freddie. Thank you ever so much for the memory and the entertainment over the years. Oh, that's a bit of fluid straight out of the car there for Dr. Fahern. The burnout, and just literally as it went across the line, fluid has appeared from underneath the car straight away. Now, not quite sure what it is. The initial reaction is fuel, as it seems to be evaporating very quickly indeed. Which is obviously very good news for the track crews. The last thing we need is oil at this stage, though. You want to try and get everybody through. And in fact, it's evaporated already, it's gone. But it was certainly enough to stop. In actual fact, if you look at the rear tyres, there's plenty of fluid coming out from the bottom of the car. So what that is, we're not quite sure, but it's actually going back quite a way now as the car is pushed backwards. Oh, I had a chat with that man earlier on today, Mr. Roy Wilding. Great to see him here this weekend. Don't start running around, Roy. Walk everywhere, please, mate. Just walk. Right, gorgeous looking Chevy, putting a stout 12.22 on the scoreboards there. So, not quite sure what's happened to Fahern there, but she'll be back tomorrow. Absolutely no problem at all, fingers crossed. Still got plenty of vehicles in the pairing lanes. Don't forget, running up to 5 o'clock this afternoon, we will squeeze through as many as we can in the lanes. Well, still hits keep on coming. Still got plenty of cars to get through before we wrap things up here for Run What You Brung Day 1 on the Friday. One of the Willis Wars cars, you'll be seeing this tomorrow. Well, certainly a Dragstougia as well, actually. Can't forget Willis Wars at Dragstougia. One of the banner events of the year. Trouble is, you've got so many killer events here at SantaPod these days. It's a battle between all of them to choose your favourite. There are so many good ones these days. Right, Kieran Smith with the Mustang, 1966 vintage. PB'd at 11.86. Now, he can't be far away from that, to be fair. In actual fact, he has set a new PB today, 11.75 at 110 miles an hour. So he's going to be a happy chap when he gets his time tickets all together today. Really cool to have a new PB set when you come to the track. And just to prove it wasn't a fluke, he's gone 11.78 at 112. So that's an increase on the speed. So even faster than he went before. Took a little bit longer to get there, so it gave him more chance to build up some speed. So well done there to Kieran Smith. One of those cars that I wish I had all the details on. He's put in so many good runs today, but unfortunately don't have a sheet on it, so can't give you all the details. Goes through with a 13.25 and 102 miles an hour. Well, top crew shirts award go to Annie. This is the Aula Anglia entry of Ronnie Mercer. And not only that, car back in the, well, on the verge of going into the nines. He went 10.06 earlier on today. Come on, Ronnie, let's have a 9 this time round. .10.01, 130 miles an hour at the stripe. Well, how close do you want to get to a 9 without actually doing it? 10.01, 130 mile an hour, but good pass nevertheless. I was going to say the next run today will be a 9, but that's game over for Ronnie today. He'll be back out again tomorrow as the clock winds down. We've got about 20 minutes left of Run What You Brung today. Right, the 37 Ford has put in a good few runs today, to be fair. Best today, let's have a look. So far today, 13.01. Now would be a good time to get that magical 12 on the boards. Bit of a cough and a splutter on the way up there, so I think it's going to be stuck in the 13-second zone, maybe a bit slower. 13.22, well, not a bad run actually, to be fair. But just that little hiccup going up maybe cost him a 12. As you get towards the end of the day, and there's still cars that are making their first runs actually of the weekend. What a shame. I was really looking forward to this car putting another run. It went 9.96 earlier on today. It looks so sedate, but when you realise that the actual bonnet is missing off the car, to show that glorious power plant in all its glory there. Makes you realise that this thing really does mean business. Great looking car, and well, certainly hope it appears again later on. Actually, just looking in the pairing lanes here, Colin Miller has made it down into the lanes once again. But the one of interest, as if all of them aren't interesting anyway, we see Freddie's Revenge down there, but it's not the Topolino body that we're all used to. This is the first run out with the Austin A35 Nostalgia Funny Car body. Robbie Grabham in the hot seat though. They haven't run the A35 body since 2001 at the Donley Park meeting at Shakespeare County Raceway. Let's have a look at the rest of the notes here. In those days, we're running a 108-inch wheelbase chassis with a blown small block Chevy. Shortly after that, they cut the nose off and stored it in a barn until a couple of years ago. Well, that's one of the things of living in the West Country. You've got barns and things, and you can store things down there. Recently, they've obviously been running the Topolino with big block Chevy power. They couldn't stretch the A35 body to fit that, so last season they cut the chassis down to 113 inches. The old chassis was 125 inches and stretched the body to fit. And this afternoon is Robbie's first time on the track with a full body. And Dopey says, from me, give a huge thanks to the crew for all of their hard work over the past few weeks. They've got a new look, actually, to the team this year, and they've got a range of merchandise and apparel for sale, including T-shirts, mugs, teddy bears, etc. Pay us a visit in the pits, and they are literally by the pit entry around the back as such. Nice new wrap, or nice new colour scheme on their race transporter. So if you want to see the supercharged Outlaw Austin A35, it's Freddie's Revenge. That car will be coming around the corner fairly shortly for the first run with Robbie at the controls. Right, one of the Outlaw Anglias. And now obviously these guys are getting practice in today, ready for their qualifying proper tomorrow. That's a nice 150-60 foot time there. And that's going to go quicker than it went earlier, definitely. Wow, 988 goes into the number 6 spot of the day, 130 miles an hour. To give you a clue, it was number 76 in the running order, just moved up to number 6. One of the best looking nostalgia superstock cars around. Love the lettering on this, it just looks so period correct. The black wheels on the back, chromes on the front, everything just sits dead right with this. Earlier on, around 12:28 at 109 miles an hour. That goes 12:30 at 109 this time round, so very consistent. That is really good news, actually. Just 0.02 of a second difference between his best and that run. So they have a bracket car, which is what you need in nostalgia superstock. A consistent car. And if your reaction times to the Christmas tree are excellent as well, then you have a combination that's going to be very, very difficult to beat. One of the Wild Bunch getting some runs in today. First time I've personally seen this car in action. This is Brian Watson. Goes 1167 at 106. The car is called Interest Free. Right, the Zodiac comes back up to the line. I did put a run in earlier. Went 13:49 at just under 100 miles an hour. Goes over 100 this time, 106 and a good 13.16 second run improvement there as well. Well, the cars keep on arriving here at SantaPod Raceway for the NSRA Nostalgia Nationals. Got a feeling tomorrow and Sunday going to be very, very busy here. As Martin Hallam with Whiplash, and that is a peach of a wheelie there. Very nicely held as well. And goes 10.75 at 120 miles an hour. Good looking run there for the Whiplash car. Well, once again, Colin Miller making some more clouds, not that we need anymore, but the Flying Fifer well and truly back with us here at SantaPod Raceway. Got a very busy month down here indeed, as get ready for door slammers and of course the main event. Well, we haven't had a car running the 8s yet this weekend. Perhaps this is Colin's time to shine. We know the car is insanely quick. It's actually the Outlaw Anglia ET record holder in the 7.3 second zone. Part of a 3-car team now with the Crookston boys as well. So Colin Miller, the Flying Fifer. Tiny pedal in there, but that is going to take the quickest time of the day without a shadow of a doubt. 8.75, 159 miles an hour, goes to the top of the pile. Still plenty more to come though. Did have a little pedal in there. That means did lift off the gas and got back on it. It was a minuscule one, but it was there. Clive Dandridge with the Mustang. Just looking for consistency is our Clive. Anywhere around 13.4 will do nicely. If he goes 13.2, it's a head scratch because he's back on PB territory. 13.6, he's going to wonder why on earth the car isn't consistent. So a 13.4 or something similar to that would be very nice indeed for Clive. Let's see how this one pans out. Really talking tenths of a second, but they make all the difference. That's not too bad. 13.52 gives him something to work with. Gives him some consistency, but say anything slower than that, it would have been not quite sure about this, but 13.52, that'll go with his 13.4, 13.45 from earlier. Right, big block Chevy, don't you just love them? So I believe it's a 454 in this one. I'll tell you what, this car is no slouch either. Went 10.12 earlier on today. Oh, 10.17, well consistent if anything. Right, the Morris Minor back for another pass. No, got some decent runs in today actually, to be fair. Best today of 15.08. Love to see a 14 appear on the scoreboards for this one. I think it's going to go the other way though, unfortunately. Yeah, 15.55 at 86 miles an hour. Right, the Flying Solitaire, Barry Crookston. Now we know Colin Miller's going to be waiting in the shutdown area for Barry to make his run here. So first time out, I believe, for this car. Recently finished at the Flying Fifer headquarters. And you'll spot the similarities between this Scott's and Colin's cars, pretty much cracked out of the same mould. Slight differences between all three cars though. Obviously this one not quite as wide as Colin's, as in the rear wheel arches and that, but this one more sit up actually. The rule for Outlaw Anglia has to retain a certain wheelbase, and the windscreen angle has to be original. But apart from that, pretty much anything goes. In other words, you can't lay the windscreen back to make it more aerodynamic. It has to be the correct angle. So then, Barry Crookston with the Flying Solitaire. That'll do, 10:58, 118 miles an hour, parachute out in the shutdown area. Familiarisation just to get everything right. So nice run there for Barry.
572.
Right, thank goodness for that. I was really looking forward to seeing this car put a run in, and unfortunately did get pushed back earlier, but it looks like it's all fixed. And subject to the thumbs up on the start line, which we've now got, we'll get another run in. So let's see if we can see an improvement on that brilliant 9-second run from earlier. Went 9.96. Gorgeous looking car, gleaming black paintwork in the afternoon sunshine here at the NSRA Nationals. Planted launch, absolutely worry-free. Arrow straight all the way out the track. And boom, 9.68. What a cracking run that was. Into the number 4 spot on the day. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do it. That was drop dead gorgeous, that run. Very impressed indeed. Right, Jim, let's see what you've got in the 1965 Nostalgia Super Stocker here. Lovely little wheelie off the line. Now then, went earlier on today, 10.16. We're going to get close to that 9, surely. Oh, it went the other way, 10.32, 124. But the stockers really do require good air to run in, and obviously the heat of the days made the air a bit thinner, so they're making less horsepower, so their ETs are affected that way, because these engines are naturally aspirated, no power adders whatsoever. It's pretty difficult to tune those things. Right, well, we gave it a good mention earlier on, but here it is, Robbie Grabham in Freddy's Revenge, but with the Austin A35 body. This looks absolutely fantastic. So Terry, Dave and Hillary all down there helping young Robbie. Now, in the not too distant future, I would hope to see a rear wing appear on that as well. Not a lot of rear downforce on the car, so I would imagine that will appear at some stage, fingers crossed. Obviously not this weekend, but I reckon that is screaming for a rear spoiler at some stage, or a rear wing. So some final adjustments being made to the back of the car. So for Grabham and Carter then, this is young Robbie Grabham with Freddy's Revenge, the Austin A35 body. First time that Robbie's had a full body around him. Oh wow, that's left the line well. I tell you what, as checkout passes go, 8.90, 115. Massive thumbs up for that one. Really do like that. Very impressive indeed. Doing 122 miles an hour at the 8th in 5:05. And a 60 foot of 1.09. That really did leave the line as if meant it. Very impressed indeed. So nice one to Team Freddy's Revenge. Excellent running there. Right, here comes Ruby, the family Ford of the Harrisons. This is Kim Harrison's turn to shine in the hot seat. Well done to Freddy's Revenge team. Dave, that was a stellar run, 8.90. Seriously impressed with that one, mate. You and the whole gang, I know you've worked feverishly to get that car down the track, but as a checkout pass, 8.90. Wow, very impressed indeed. Go around and see that team. They got new T-shirts and hoodies and teddies and all sorts of things, and the reason they do that, A, to show your support for the team, but B, it just helps them make a couple of quid to go racing. They don't make a fortune on them. It's not the idea to profit. The idea is just to help fund the racing just a little bit. Right, Rod Harrison looks on as wife Kim takes Ruby up the quarter mile. 11:08, 124 miles an hour, her best run of the weekend so far, and not far away from the 10s either. Nicely done there for Kim. Ah, the big Chevy pickup. I tell you what, that's had a few runs today. There's Adam behind the wheel. Oh, sorry, Alan. No, wrong person. Sorry. Get it right, Cole. Come on. Adam was right the first time round, went 13.41 earlier. He's gone 13.73 on this run. Right, just to let you know, the fire up lane, the fire up road is now closed. The pairing lanes are now closed, so no more cars to come down. So basically we're going to run what we've got left, and that will be game over for us today. So pairing lanes are now closed. Oh, actually, it's 5 o'clock when we were due to finish, and I didn't realise that the pairing lanes were going to close at 5, so might be running on a little bit yet. Still got plenty of cars down there. I can see the tight fit slingshot in the lanes ready to go. I can see, I think it's Katie Booth about to get into Mighty Mouse. I can see the Rebel. That is Rob Brown getting ready to go. And on the line, John Dalrymple with the Willis pickup. So far this weekend, John has gone 11.91 and goes 12.20 on this particular pass at 103. Right, the licensing continues then for Rob Brown with the Rebel Slingshot. He's done his burnout and launch, which was A-OK. He did his half-track run with parachute out. That was A-OK. Now it's the time for the full pull. Now, I don't actually know how quick he's got to go. I would imagine, all being well, this will be in the 9s. You never know. Could dip into the 8s. But this new car has proved to be an absolute star. Really love the attitude of Rob and Pete, and of course Haley as well, chasing after the car. Drag racing all well and truly in their blood. All three of them love coming up to the events, are so vocal in their support for the world of drag racing, and I tell you what, the drag racing family will be a quieter place without these three in it, especially within the Wild Bunch. Super team that I've got a heck of a lot of respect and time for. So Pete Brown, who has just armed the parachutes, he's already licensed in this car. It's Rob's turn this weekend, and then he'll be in competition for this one. And then I believe Pete is back in the seat for the Summer Nationals, and then they start their rotational where they swap over run after run. So here we go then, licensing pass, full pull. Well, that certainly shows he can handle the car. Just got a little bit out of the groove, got back on it. 9:12, 1:47. That was beautifully done. Shoots out in the shutdown area once again. And yeah, a cheeky little thumbs up there. Dave Warren impressed enough, I think. I think they need to do one more. But a 9:12, 1:47 with a pedal. Show control, show composure, shoots out. Even Emma came to have a look at that one as well. So I think just a little bit of a chat there just to make sure. I'm just going to have a look down at the Maras. Just make sure that was A-OK. So I just do need to do a check to see if it's 2 full pulls or if it's just 1. But the way the hands were shaking there, possibly it was just the 1. Right, Katie Booth with the Mighty Mouse. See how she gets on. Been running consistent low 10s this weekend. Oh, nicely controlled there, Katie. Car went a little bit left on the launch. Gathered it up very quickly indeed. I think it was 11:23 at 126, but I think there's a little bit of pedal at the start there, which just gathered it in a bit. Well, there's a lot of revs, but no motion there. Not quite sure what's happened there, but literally, I think just driven through the converter. Went for the revs and nothing there at all. Not quite sure what's happened there, but no burnout at all. Let's see how the run goes. Russ enjoying life abroad these days. I wonder if he's tuned in. If you are, Russ, very good afternoon. So the tight fit dragster. This is young Steve behind the wheel. Thumbs up given for the run, but don't expect fireworks on this one. I don't think he's got a huge amount of forward motion in the car. Oh, I lied. It's actually hooked up and gone after just rolling through the beams a bit there. Goes through 11:23 at 126 miles now. That purely was a checkout pass, though. No full burnout there. So well done, Steve. Right, one of the supercharged Outlaws. This is the thing. Dancing around the lane on the burnout. We like that. Now, this car used to have a full-blown funny car body on it, but they changed it for the altered body. I think it looks better as an altered, to be fair. Certainly can see where he's going damn sight better. Not only that, he's been to the Freddie Fraggerstrom School of Reversing as well. That's coming back at a fair old rate of knots, but doing so arrow straight. Still plenty of machinery in the pairing lane. Susie Q's made it down. Kirsten's made it down. Andy Parks coming round for another run. Matt Coop is down there. Robin Reed has brought the Daimler blown dragster down as well. Brian Savage in the lanes once again with the 32. Getting very, very interesting indeed as we run out the rest of the cars in the pairing lanes, and going to be great to watch. All right, parachute now armed. Here we go then, the thing. A couple of dry hops to the line. That's how they always used to do it in the Nitro Funny Car back in the day. Let's see how the team get on then. Good looking straight run and top of the pile, 8.15, 165 miles an hour. Nicely done. Now give Andy Park credit here. He's got a street legal 33 Ford Model Y. And not only that, this thing can run in the 9-second zone. It's got a best of 10:01 this weekend. Be a lovely time to run a very high 9 now. Be looking forward to seeing this. Well done to the Thing team. It was a cracking run, quickest of the day. Now obviously Andy just on hold at the moment whilst the tractor just does a little bit of track prep, but in the auto clip lane, that lane will be ready to go once again. Just running the one lane at the moment. Alright, so Andy Park then, let's see what he's got for us. His last run of the day with the 33. 10:01 is best so far. Has been in the 9s, well and truly capable of running it as and when he wants. But maybe just checking out a few new things this weekend. Is that Graham Smith up next? Stuart McCarthy's down there, he's his crewman, so maybe Graham's made it down for a run. He has. Oh no, it's a different Tri-Chevy. Sorry, but I saw Stuart down there and I thought Graham was coming out to run. Well, despite the weather earlier on, it's turned out into a half decent day here at the pod. Very enjoyable indeed. Some pretty good runs today from quite a few people. Some people were licensing and getting the job done. All right then, Andy Park comes forward. Let's see what he's got for us then. His last run of the day. Are we going to see that little magical 9-second run appear? He's in the number 13 spot, as I say, 10:01. Oh, 10:09. 133. Super consistent car there. All right, another one of the Tri-Chevys. First run of the weekend for this one. This will obviously be taking part properly tomorrow. And tomorrow will be his first run, unfortunately, as something's happened to the car, not being able to make the run. I tell you what, that's a big piece of metal to push back on your own. Right, Kirsten with Susie Q. All right, the Postendros supported car then. Susie Q can run in Super Pro, runs in supercharged Outlaws, and being Kirsten, she can run anywhere she likes. One of the nicest women that you'll ever meet in the world of drag racing, and one of the nicest cars you'll ever see. Right, that she knows how to drive it. Good looking arrow straight run indeed. 8:43 at 163 miles an hour. Second fastest run of the day. And we like that one a lot. And I'm sure Kirsten will be going quicker tomorrow. Right, Brian Savage with the 32. Well, you know what's coming up. It's going to be a run between 10.5 and 10.6. Going alongside Matt Cooper, the returning Matt Cooper. It's great to see him back. The car sounds good and strong. We know the driver can handle it. More than handle this car, to be fair. And let's just see what he's got for us this afternoon. So many potent combinations in Outlaw Anglia, and this being one of them. Now, what normally happens with a lot of these door cars, you do a burnout and the cockpit fills up with smoke, and to allow the driver to see where it's going, you've got to open the doors and get the smoke out. But that's all been done now. Brian Savage brings the 32 up to the line in the Auto Glim lane. Matt Cooper, he's in the energy check lane. Well, once again, Matt Cooper having to feather the throttle as he approached the 330 marker. Looks like Brian's going to go sailing past and run a 10.56. Like clockwork, unbelievable. 10.56 to 925, 12.90 for Matt Cooper, 65 miles an hour at the stripe. But once that thing's all hooked up and sorted, that's going to go a fair bit quicker. Definitely fair to say. Right, I've mentioned this car a few times and now's a chance to actually get it right. This is Tim Bull with the Thames van. Actually a local guy, actually lives in Northampton. Up alongside the Barracuda. Now then, Tim, on his previous runs, let's have a quick look. A 10.99 is best today. I don't have a PB for him, but that ain't hanging about. $11.26 at 129 for that run. Right, the Ragged Wedge going alongside the Fright. Two great cars that we see very regularly up here. That's Tim Holmes in the Ragged Wedge. And unfortunately I haven't got the sheet immediately to hand for the Fright, but does plenty of runs up here. $10.84 and $11.10. Robin Reed, great to see him here with the dragster, and it's still a mission to be achieved. Desperate to get a 200-mile-an-hour pass for the Daimler powered dragster. Has been, as far as memory serves me, 199.8 miles an hour. Oh, so close. ain't a bad looking run at all for Robin. Little pop at the stripe, but look at that, 6.84 with a 192.93 miles an hour. That was a very strong run indeed, and definitely work in progress. There was a tiny pop at the stripe. I do wonder if the burst panel did actually just go. There's too much pressure in the supercharger. It may have just popped, but nevertheless, great run. 684, 192. Oh, delighted that they made it back down to give it another go. This is Simon Barlow with this outrageous Anglia. Sounds like this thing is set to kill. It really is. Still problems in the other lane for the Chevy. Not quite sure if that's going to make the run. If maybe a solo then for Simon Barlow. Now the car has been in the sevens. Carl Harrison responsible for the final say on the tune on this one. He's done a lot of work on the engine in this thing. And that is Carl out back at the moment. Quite a few aerodynamic little flicks on this car. Oh, fingers crossed. Let's see if Simon can get a full pull in on this one. Yes, that is a good planned half pass there, and everybody seems real happy with that. A 60 foot of 1.11 was off the gas at the 8th completely. 113 mile an hour, got there in 5 seconds. But a totally planned half pass. In actual fact, it wasn't even a half pass, it was a launch. But Carl ridiculously happy with that. That is a box ticked. Well done, guys. Excellent stuff. Right, the hits just keep on coming. The Morgan is back for another shot. His last run of the day, and one of the Fords as well. That is, let's have a look. Sean Doyle back for another one. Well done to Simon Barlow's team, actually going to the top end to collect their man, but that was a stout launch, really was. Hooked up and went arrow straight. And I think they're going to be quite a content team tonight as they get ready for tomorrow. But car looks freaking awesome, really does. And I tell you what, this car looks pretty good as well. And once they've got this thing set up to run drag racing quick, this thing's really going to move. 1197 at 122 miles an hour. It's certainly not shy in the speed department, but it's a very lightweight car and it's just getting the power down. But once that potential is unlocked, that Morgan really going to fly. Bizarrely, one of the limiting factors on that Morgan that I could see is actually the size of the rear tyre. Quite a small wheel tyre combination on there, obviously, to get onto the wheel arches. Normally you need big slicks and everything to get a car to move down this track, but they're doing it, fair to say, on not on a full-blown drag racing slick, so even more credit to the team. Still got plenty of machinery in the pairing lanes. Let's see who we've got coming up next. Some people call them potato wagons, some people call them rancheros, some of them call them Falcon pickups, but I just call them cool. And it's the right colour as well, grey. Looks super nice. One of our Tri-Chevys. Starlight Crew just having a good little look underneath, just make sure everything is a-okay. I think it's okay. Yeah, good to go. So watch the tree. Here we go. Right, not a lot between these two on their previous runs, to be fair. A 12.22 plays a 12.49. And wow, good improvements for both of them actually. 11.87 moves on up to number 50 spot, and a 12.21 moves up from 59 to 55. Well, if you ever like a chassis twisting launch, that was the one for you then. In the energy check lane, the pickup. I tell you what, that thing's not hanging around either actually. A best so far of 10.41, goes 10.48 on this run, and a 13.34, 107 in the auto grid lane. Well, the pairing lanes are closed, but looks like they must have filled it up completely because they're still coming down. Still got plenty of cars to go through. Just seen Simon Rickwood with the Bossa Nova up here, having just pulled a big wheel stand on his previous run. So the cow tracks on the back end, I think, are working nicely. Right, one of the Willis Wars and one of the... well, it may look alright, look, but looks cool nevertheless. Right, one of the wild bunch then. Coming up to the line, didn't have a chance to give this one a proper shout out earlier on. This is Graham Rawlins with the Little Digger. Best of 10.57. Not looking for a PB on this run, it's good seat time, but taking a little wander around the lane as well. The wheelie bar really coming into effect there. Help the car sort of stay on the straight. Oh. Well, not only that, he's a massive PB as well. 10.22 at 127. Well, that's one way of setting a PB. Nicely done. Goes to show that the commentators know absolutely nothing. I said, not looking for a PB or anything like that, and he goes and shaves 0.3 of a second off. Full credit to the team, they enjoyed it as well. Right, the hits just keep on coming. If you like your Fords from the 1930s, how about this one in the auto-glim lane? Oh, if you like them. So a little bit later on, Lisanne Doyle with her 100. 12.30 and a 14.09. Tiny improvement there for Lisanne. Right, Simon Rickwood, and the next thing on his shopping list, I suggest, will be a wheelie bar. The cow tracks installed, I think it was over the winter period of 2016, no sorry, 2017, 2018, really working well. Yeah, 1029, 116, 1085, 124. So what, Simon Rickwood's got a race car. Right, the big Camaro, didn't have any details on this one over on, and by the time it's done its run, I'll probably find the information on it. But this is one of our later entries to the run we have run. I found it straight away. Neil Vaughan, this is. From Exeter, I believe. Quite a long way for him to travel this weekend. Goes 10.74, nice looking run indeed. Here's the best of the weekend so far. All right, James Ald with the little Faust dragster and the Mustang, based not too far away from here. That is Kieran Smith. Now earlier on went 11.75 at 110, then found a little bit more speed. Went 112. And in between the two this time, 111. James Ald goes to 12.64 at 106. All right, a couple more of the Fords. That's Paul Lawn in the Auto Glim lane. Oh, coughing and spluttering and smoking up the lane there. I'm not going to get to the other one in time. 14.24 plays a 15.8. Right, I think we're getting towards the end now, as I can see two cars in the lanes and nothing behind them. So we are very close to the end of Run What You've Rung here for day one of the NSRA Nostalgia Nationals here at SantaPod Raceway. And the 37 down for yet another run. This has certainly got value for money today, despite the weather delay earlier on. But it's actually turned into a pretty decent afternoon. Now, don't forget, this evening we do have live music in the bar. Make sure you pay that a visit. I think everybody's going to be chilling out tonight, which would be really good to see. iParty. And they will be kicking things off tonight and having a good old session going on in the Fuelers Bar from 8 o'clock onwards. DJ Disco's Revenge and live band iParty. There we go. Actually, Fuelers Bar is already open. It's been open for ages. But once the racing's finished, everybody's in the chill out zone. And that's where everybody will be heading later on. Or whatever you end up doing, have a good evening tonight. Keep an eye on the weather though, it might get a little bit wet later on, but it stayed away from us this afternoon. Track opens at 9:30 tomorrow morning with a continuation of Run What You've Rung. Our first classes of qualifying will be at 11 o'clock. The Nostalgia Superstock, Gas Circus, Outlaw Anglia and Supercharged Outlaws. Firestorm, the jet car, will be running at 5 to 1. and then it's pretty much a full-on day of track action. So we just got 2 pairs to go, 1 solo if it can get going. If not, it'll be going back to the pits, and that is a wrap for us here today. But just a little bit of a check out in the energy check lane at the Stride. Final reminder, final reminder, unless James tells me differently, but if you haven't booked in for Door Slammers, you may have left it a little bit late now. You have had ages to book in for that, but I'll be checking out the website later on just to see where the entries are. But my goodness me, next weekend, I think I've told you all enough times to get yourselves up here. I'm sure you will be coming. All right, here we go, the final 2 pairs. Right, the Ford Coupe in the number 64 spot for this weekend. Best so far of 13:01. And 11:91 the best time so far in the Autoglim lane. Let's see how these two get on. $11.79 and $12.75. Improvement for both of them right at the end of the day. Okay, our last pair of the day. I want to thank you all so much indeed for coming up today. Day 1 of 3 at the Nostalgia Nationals. Tomorrow's going to be a lot busier, by the way, a lot busier. It's the weekend, nobody's at work. Well, apart from those that do have to work on a Saturday. But it's not certainly the Monday to Friday gang. Well, they'll be here en masse tomorrow and Sunday. Weather looks good. I know the track action is going to be fantastic. So going to wrap this one up with a solo here. Let's see if we can go quicker than a 13:16 recorded earlier on today. Sounds good. Oh, way quicker. Look at that, 12:69 at 108. Right, well, I think the Frankenstein car's not going to make it. The Chevy's not going to move an inch. So we think that is a wrap for day 1. Thank you all so very much indeed for coming along. Enjoy yourselves this evening. If you're barbecuing, if you're going to one of the cafes, if you're getting food on site. But don't forget, Fuelers Bar will be the place to be a little bit later on this evening. So have a great evening, folks. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning as we continue with the on-track action here for the NSRA Nostalgia Nationals here at SantaPod Raceway. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening.